Hi students, welcome to Shekhar's history classes. We are discussing about previous year questions that are given in UPSC. In this video, we deal with post-Mauryan related period. Here, total 12 questions are there. First, we briefly see what were the developments in post-Mauryan period. Then we will come back to the questions. You can answer them after following the description carefully. Post-Mauryan period starts generally after 185 BC. What happened in 185 BC? It was the year when the last Mauryan emperor Brihadrada was killed by his own commander-in-chief Pushyamitra Shunga and established his dynasty, that is Shunga dynasty. This is the year starting. We are calling this period as post-Mauryan age. Just we see what happened just before this post-Mauryan age. This is Nanda Empire. During this time period, Alexander reached the northwestern parts of India. After conquering the northwestern parts of India, then he went back. Even though Alexander wanted to enter into the subcontinent, his soldiers were afraid of Nanda Empire, particularly the elephants of Nanda Empire. So they revolted against Alexander. He had no option but to go back. However, his empire reached these parts of India. After the death of Alexander, his soldiers or commanders, they were controlling this part of India. Now, this is the area where the Greeks controlled these areas. When Alexander was there, he established many towns also. Here you can find some of the towns with name Alexandria. These were the towns established by Alexander when he reached these parts of India. After his exit, then new kings emerged. They were called as Indo-Greeks in our history. To differentiate with the Greeks present in the Europe, we are calling, because these Greeks settled near Indian subcontinent, so we have given the term Indo-Greeks. This we have to remember while dealing with the post-Mauryan period. So they were the first invaders who settled, and before that the Persians settled. However, these people are going to have large impact on Indian history. So Indo-Greeks. We have to remember different invaders who are going to come in this point of time. This was the Mauryan Empire. You can see Greco-Bactrian kingdoms, Seleucid Empire. These two belong to Greeks. So they were the neighbors. When Nanda Empire was there, this was replaced by Chandragupta Maurya. This time period, they were under Indo-Greeks. Later, Chandragupta Maurya conquered these areas and integrated in Mauryan Empire. That is why we see the Mauryan Empire till Afghanistan area. So this is one important aspect which we have to remember when it comes to Mauryan Empire. During Mauryan Empire itself, Indo-Greeks were there. That is one aspect. Second one, after the exit of Mauryan Empire, Shunga Empire came. However, Shungas could not control this much empire because the successors of Ashoka were weak. During their time period itself, the northwestern parts of India and Deccan parts already going or departing away from central administration of Pataliputra. When Shungas came, they had to fight with both Indo-Greeks and they had to fight with Shatavahana Empire also. There were conflicts between Indo-Greeks and Shunga Empire and Satavahanas and Shunga Empire. We get the information about these conflicts in various Sanskrit dramas. For example, Malavikagni Mitram. It was the Malavikagni Mitra. It was the play written by Kalidasa. Kalidasa belonged to Gupta era. Still, he has written story about Shunga Empire. In this story, he writes about son of Pushyamitra Shunga. Pushyamitra Shunga was the founder of Shunga Empire. Pushyamitra Shunga's son Agnimitra. So the story Malavika Agnimitram. It is the story about Agnimitra. This story explains the conflict between Pushyamitra Shunga and Indo-Greeks. In that play, they were mentioned as Yavanas. The term Yavana came from pepper. Actually, this is not pepper. Yavanas, generally they are called Indo-Greeks because they came from Ionian Sea. The term became Yavana. However, they liked pepper so much that they represent now Yavana Priya. It also associated with the term pepper because the Greeks were so much fond of pepper. The term Yavana Priya is associated with Greeks and pepper combination. This is one important. These are the questions asked in UPSC. Now Shunga Empire. Now we are talking about Kalidasa. Kalidasa in his writing Malavikagnimitram. He mentioned about the battles between Pushyamitra Shunga and Yavanas. The Yavanas here means they are Indo-Greeks. This is one important which we have to find. The evidence about the conflict between Pushyamitra Shunga and Indo-Greeks comes from Kalidasa Malavikagnimitram. Malavikagnimitram is about Agnimitra. It mentions about Yavanas, conflict between Yavanas and Shungas. After Shungas were replaced by Kanva dynasty. Here Shatavahanas were very powerful. At one point of time they conquered Pataliputra itself. Now around this time period, what is happening in the northwest? Indo-Greeks were replaced by new type of tribe. This time they came from Central Asia. Greeks came from western part of the world. Now Shakas, they came from Central Asia. Now the second one who came to India as invaders were Shakas. This sequence is also important. This sequence is already given in UPSC. What is the sequence? Now Indo-Greeks came first, later Shakas. After Shakas, Kushans, they are about to come. So this is the order in which in northwestern part of India we will find different invasions in different points of time. Greeks invasions started before Mauryan dynasty itself in Nanda Empire. This is around 320 BC, 320s. Now Shakas, they came in hundreds, 100 BC or 90-80 BC. Kushans in 1st century AD. You will find different time periods for different invaders. At this point of time, Indo-Scythians. Scythian is a tribe name from Central Asia. When they entered into Indian subcontinent, they were called as Shakas. This is what you have to identify. Like Greeks, when it comes to Indian subcontinent, they were called Yavanas. Similarly, Scythia was their tribe outside India. When they come inside, they were called Shakas. Now we are moving to the next stage in the post-Mauryan period. Here you can see. Here Shakas, they mainly restricted to western part of India, Gujarat area. Here Shakas. Kushan Empire became very powerful around this time period. Now you see Indo-Greeks, they were replaced by they were replaced by Shakas. Later they were replaced by Kushans. However, they got integrated into Indian society. Mainly they accepted Buddhism. They patronized Buddhism because Buddhism allows entry into Indian society very easily, comparing with Brahmanical tradition. Brahmanical or Hinduism, that time Brahmanical tradition, it is dividing the society into 4 parts: Kshatriya, Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So these invaders, in the initial stages don't know where they have to be fit in. Whereas Buddhism doesn't believe in this, so they easily adopted Buddhism and Buddhism easily allowed the entry into Indian society. This is the reason why these people adopted in Buddhism easily and they got even, Buddhism even got patronage. For example, 4th Buddhist Council was held by Kanishka. Kanishka belonged to Kushana dynasty. This is how you have to see the sequence: Indo-Greeks, later Shakas, later Kushans. This is the order you have to remember. Indo-Greeks, when Indo-Greeks were there, they fought with the Shungas. This information comes from the term Yavanas or Yavanapriya from Kalidasa play, Malavika Agnimitram. All these are important with respect to prelims point of view. Next, Shakas came. With respect to Shakas, the first pure Sanskrit inscription given by not by Indian rulers but by foreigners, Shakas. Famous name Rudradaman. Rudradaman, he has given this pure Sanskrit inscription in Girinar, located in Gujarat. This is one important aspect when it comes to prelims. Next, Kushans, Kushana dynasty, famous ruler Kanishka. He is important in our history because he patronized Buddhism. 4th Buddhist Council was held under his patronage. 4th Buddhist Council was presided by Vasumitra and Ashwagosha. 2 important Buddhist monks were there. They presided 4th Buddhist Council. It was held in Kashmir. When it comes to Buddhism, even in case of Greeks also, there was a famous ruler. His name is Menander. He also adopted Buddhism. Now he did not easily accept Buddhism. He got so many questions and he posed these questions to a monk called Nagasena. Nagasena and Menander both had question and answers. These question and answers are compiled in Milinda Panho. Milinda Panho. So here the term Milinda means Menander. He belonged to Indo-Greeks. Menander, Nagasena, the discussion between those two people compiled in Milinda Panho text. They adopted Buddhism. Shakas also adopted Buddhism later. However, slowly they adapted into Brahmanical society as well. When it comes to Kushans, they patronized Buddhism and Shaivism, Hindu related gods also patronized by Kushans. In their coins also you will find the images of Buddha and images of Hindu related deities. Here 4th Buddhist Council was held by Kanishka. Kushan, he belongs to Kushana dynasty and it was held in Kashmir. It was presided by Vasumitra and Ashwagosha. Ashwagosha was the one who has written Buddha Charita, the history of Buddha in Sanskrit. Here you can see in the initial stages, Pali was the language of Buddhist literature. Now by the 1st century AD, Sanskrit was adopted even by Buddhist monks. Here officially split also emerged in Buddhist community. One was called Mahayana, another was called Hinayana. Mahayana, Hinayana, difference is they wanted to use only Pali language because it was the language of Buddha times. Now Mahayana people wanted to use Sanskrit to write literature. It is the trend of the day. Sanskrit is becoming popular in those times. So they wanted to use the Sanskrit, and to promote Buddhist ideas, they used Sanskrit as a means. And by this time period, sculpture also developed near these parts. Gandhara, Cambodia are the Mahajanapadas. In this area, Gandhara art is also flourished. Gandhara, Madura art was flourishing around this time period. Here, Mahayana, they used images as tool to worship Buddha as a god, whereas they don't believe in image worship. They don't want to see Buddha as a god. He was also a human being. Like Buddha, everyone with perfect enlightenment, they also can reach Buddha stage. That belief came in Hinayana. So this kind of split also emerged in 4th Buddhist Council. Official split emerged in 4th Buddhist Council. All these are related to 4th Buddhist Council. Now all these are related to Buddhism. Why the foreigners accepted Buddhism means it became very easy to adapt into Indian society. Now there is one more important aspect with respect to time period. Here during this time period, let us see, different eras are there. Here 78 AD is the Kanishka era or Shaka era. It was the time period when Kanishka assumed throne. However, even though it is debatable, still 78 AD is the beginning of Shaka era. Only debate is whether Kanishka established or some other person established, only debatable, but 78 AD is regarded as Shaka era. There is one more era, that is Vikram era. Vikram era is 58 BC. These dates are related to these people. Now we will see how. Vikram era means there was a ruler called Vikramaditya in Ujjaini area. When Shakas were entering, Vikramaditya fought with Shakas and Vikramaditya defeated Shakas. For this, Vikramaditya, he became very popular in our history. He established a era called Vikram era, Vikram Samvat or Vikram era, that started from 58 BC. So 58 BC is Vikram era. Because of Vikramaditya's victory over Shakas, 78 AD is the Shaka era. Now don't confuse between these Shakas and Shaka. Because of the accession of Kanishka to the throne around 78 AD, here his main area is Kashmir, Central Asia and Indian subcontinent. Shakas mainly settled in this area. Here Rudradaman issued Girnar inscription. Here Indo-Greeks, before Shakas, Indo-Greeks were there. Important ruler was Menander. Menander, his capital was Sialkot. Sialkot, where Menander and Nagasena had conversation that was compiled in Milinda Panho. This is another important aspect. Now here there is a place called Takshila. Takshila is famous for university. It was patronized by all these rulers. Indo-Greeks also, Kushans also. From Mahajanapada period, time period onwards, Takshila was there. It is very important center. Even Kautilya or Chanakya, he taught in Takshila University. Around this time period, when Mahajanapada period, this was also associated with the Panini, who gave Sanskrit grammar in the form of Ashtadhyayi. Now why we are connecting Panini here means around This same time period, here Shungas were there. There is one more grammarian, he was Patanjali. He gave commentaries on Panini's Ashtadhyayi, that is Mahabhashya. Patanjali is also associated with yoga. So here important point is Patanjali is associated with Shungas. He has written a commentary on Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Panini Ashtadhyayi. Commentary on Ashtadhyayi is Mahabhashya by Patanjali. He was contemporary of Shungas, Pushyamitra Shunga. Now you see Pushyamitra Shunga. Shunga dynasty is the period of revival of Brahmanism. Pushyamitra Shunga himself was a Brahman. Revival of Brahmanism. Patanjali and even Kalidasa also dedicated one of his writings in favor of Shunga dynasty, Malavikagni Mitra. So this shows the revival of Brahmanism during Shunga time period. Here Shatavahanas were ruling. Now you observe here, when all the invaders are accepting Buddhism, Buddhism is gaining popularity. Brahmanical text condemned these people. They condemned these as Mlechas, and also they considered this age as Kali age. According to Puranas, the entire time period in the entire universe was created at some point of time, and whenever evil increases in the society, now God take one form or one avatar, then he destroy the evil, then that age ends. Once again a fresh age will start. That was manifested in the form of 4 ages. They are, here we will write Krita Yuga, next Treta Yuga, next Dwapara Yuga, next Kali Yuga. All these developments were taking place. Some people were not favoring Brahmanism, and these kind of developments were going on in the society. Brahmanical text or Puranas considered this particular social development as Kali Yuga. These are the characteristics of Kali Yuga. Now with respect to avatars, in Brahmanical text, Treta Yuga is associated with Lord Rama, Dwapara Yuga is associated with Lord Krishna, Mahabharata battle was considered as the beginning point of Kali Yuga. So it is the end of Dwapara Yuga and beginning of Kali Yuga. Krita Yuga is before Lord Rama. So this is the time cycle visualized by Brahmanical texts. Time cycle or yugas. Now you connect this with this particular part. 78 AD Shaka era, then Vikram era 58 BC, then Kali Yuga is the time given by some text, Buddhist Brahmanical text for Kali Yuga is 3102 BC. 3102 BC is considered as the beginning of Kali Yuga. So this is also important. Now I will show you how question was asked in UPSC. This is one time, and after Maurya's Gupta era started. Guptas, that is 320 AD. 320 AD is regarded as the beginning of Gupta domination. That is why 320 AD established by Chandragupta I, he started Gupta era. So Gupta era, you have to remember these connected dates: Shaka era, Vikram era, Gupta era and Kali Yuga era. So these are the various aspects that took place in post-Mauryan period. If you know this much, then you can answer many questions that are given previously in UPSC. Now we will go to questions. Here, who among the following was not a contemporary of the other three? Bimbisara, Gautama Buddha, Milinda and Prasenajit. If you know that Milinda is related to Indo-Greeks, Bimbisara and Gautama Buddha, they belong to 6th century and 5th century BC. Bimbisara, Gautama Buddha and Prasenajit, he was the ruler of Kosala. He was the ruler of Magadha. Gautama Buddha was living in those times and he reached Magadha Empire also. He stayed in Kosala also. He stayed in Shravasti for many years. For this reason, Buddha was also called as Kosalan. During that time period, Prasenajit was the king, and Bimbisara and Prasenajit also had matrimonial alliances between those two houses. Bimbisara, Gautama Buddha and Prasenajit belong to one category, whereas Milinda, he belonged to Indo-Greeks. Now this is 2nd century BC. These people belong to 6th century and 5th century BC, and he belonged to 2nd century BC. So answer is C. He does not belong to that group. Next question. Milinda Panho is in the form of a dialogue between the king Menander and Buddhist monk name Nagasena. One question. Second question is done. The term Yavanapriya mentioned in ancient Sanskrit text denoted. Yavanapriya, so Indo-Greeks, they are fond of pepper. Based on this, they were called as Yavanapriya. Which one of the following books of ancient India has the love story of son of the founder of Shunga dynasty? Founder of Shunga dynasty, Pushyamitra Shunga, his son Agnimitra. Here, Malavikagni Mitra. This talks about the wars and battles between Shunga Empire and Indo-Greeks. With reference to the scholars or literatures of ancient India, consider the following statements. Panini is associated with Pushyamitra Shunga. This is the reason why I mentioned Panini there. Panini is associated with 6th century BCE, Takshila region, whereas Patanjali, so here Patanjali is associated with Pushyamitra Shunga, who has written commentary on Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Patanjali book is Mahavashya. Here Kalidasa is associated with Chandragupta too. This is Gupta era. This is right answer. This is wrong. Amarasimha is associated with Harshavardhana. No. Amarasimha is associated with Guptas only. Harshavardhana, Banabhatta is associated with Harshavardhana. So this also goes wrong. Answer is C. So here you have to identify Pushyamitra Shunga, Patanjali. They are contemporaries. Next question. Between which of the following was the ancient town of Takshashila? Between which of the following? In which rivers? Takshashila, Indo-Greeks, many people settled Indo-Greeks, Shakas, Kushans, and before that Takshashila University. It is located between Indus and Jhelum river. This is important. Between Indus and Jhelum it is located. With reference to the invaders in ancient India, which one of the following is the correct chronological order? This is the reason why I particularly highlighted the chronological order. First Greeks came, then Shakas, then Kushans. Who among the following presided over Buddhist council held during the reign of Kanishka at Kashmir? He was Vasumitra. Vasumitra and Ashwagosha both presided. Here Vasumitra is given. It is the answer. Next question. Many of the Greeks, Kushans, Shakas embraced Buddhism rather than Hinduism because I highlighted this is Buddhism provided easier access to Indian society. This is the reason why they accepted Buddhism. Next question. According to ancient Indian cosmogonic ideas, the sequential order of the cycle of 4 yugas. This also I highlighted for this reason. Here Dwapara means Kali is the last one. Now 3 options came. This one, Dwapara, Treta, Krita Yuga. So Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. This is regarded as 3102 BC. Now the times also there. Match list 1 and list 2. It was given in 95. Vikram era, Shaka era, Gupta era and Kali era. The answer here is Vikram era, who defeated Shakas in 58 BC. Shaka related to Kanishka Kushans 78 AD. Gupta era 320 AD. Kali era 3102 BC. So you have to see this one. Now application of these particular Shakas, you will get one more question. Here you see the Badami rock inscription of Pulakeshi I is dated in the Shaka year 465. This is Shaka year. If the same were to be dated in Vikram Samvat, the year would be, it was given in 97. You can see here. Now if you take the date, 78 AD is the Shaka era. 50, let's take in this way. This is 0, 78 AD, 58 BC. Long ago, 3102 BC is Kali era, Vikram, Shaka. Now the question is asking the Badami rock inscription dated 465 of Shaka era. Shaka era means from here onwards 465. From here onwards 465. Now something is there. Now if you add Vikram Samvat, if you consider this date from Vikram era, what would be the number? You have to add this 78 plus 58. If you add 58 and 78, then you will get 601 of Vikram Samvat. So this is the answer. If you want common era, just add 78. If you want Vikram era, that is add 58. So these are the questions. So just by knowing these aspects, now 12 questions we answered in this session. So broadly, always remember the sequence: Nanda dynasty, Alexander invasion, then Mauryan Empire. In the northwestern part, Indo-Greeks settled. Later, Indo-Greeks were replaced by Shakas. Later, Shakas were pushed by Kushans. So this is the sequence you have to remember. Whoever entered into Indian subcontinent, they accepted Indian way of life and became Buddhist or patronized Buddhism more because it allowed them to gain access easily into Indian society. This is Mauryan era. Shungas and Indo-Greeks, they fought. This fighting mentioned in Kalidas also. Yavanas mentioned, Yavana Priya. Yavana is related to Greeks. Yavana Priya is the term related to pepper. This is the sequence, and you have to see the important people related to different dynasties and different groups and different time periods established by different rulers in their time period. So these are important aspects in post-Mauryan age. Thank you.